top of the morning, and it is a beaut.
And the hope of the Irish as the future champion of the world.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio.
Welcome to the Barry J. McDonald podcast. The place where dreams get dusted off and acted on. Because life is too short. We're living on a rock that's flying through space, and hey, what the hell else were you going to do with yourself here?
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode. Now let me ask you, whose approval are you looking for today? Now I don't care whether you are writing, whether you are blogging, podcasting or whatever. I want you to consider, are you doing it for yourself? Or are you doing it because you're looking for approval from other people? Now maybe you've never thought about that before, but I'm sure if you look back at the actions you've taken today, maybe yesterday, the day before, you will find that, some of those actions you took was because you were looking for approval from other people. Now, a lot of us kind of look at, social media as the kind of big bad brother that when it comes to looking for approval, that is the only place where people do it. People put a post up on Facebook or an Instagram post and they just kind of sit back and wait and look for the likes, the shares, the comments, all the thumbs up because they're looking for approval. But it's not just in social media that happens. It happens offline as well too. Sometimes it even happens in our own home. You may be doing tasks right now, maybe to get the approval of your wife, or maybe your kids, or maybe your mother, or maybe your friends or relations. Now, I remember the great Gary Vee talking about one time about criticism and praise, and that he said he doesn't pay much attention to either. Now, I can understand him saying the bit about criticism because, a lot of people are going to hate you no matter what you do. You'll never be able to please some people, no matter what it is. You can run into a burning building, you could rescue a box full of kittens, and someone would think that you're a show-off or that you just did it for, for some fame or to get on TV or whatever. They wouldn't see it as a genuine thing that you did. So you're never going to please everybody. But I found it strange when Gary used to talk about, not looking for praise either, or to be wary of praise. Now, I used to think, well, why would you be wary of praise? If someone says, well, you've written a good book, or someone says you've put a great video on YouTube today, or a great podcast episode, or you did a good action, it's nice. It's nice to feel like that. It's nice to feel that you made a difference in someone's life. You made them maybe discover something new. You show them how to make money or whatever it was. But it's nice to feel that you have made a change in someone's life. And I could never really get my head around that. Why should you be wary of criticism? And the more I thought about it, the more I realised that it's almost nearly as poisonous as criticism. Praise is almost nearly as poisonous as criticism. Because with criticism, when people are criticising you, it keeps you small. It stops you doing the actions you want to do because you're afraid of offending people. You're afraid of standing out. You're afraid of, drawing attention to yourself. So you stop writing your books, or you stop doing your videos, or you stop doing your TikToks or whatever because you're afraid of all the criticism. So in one way, kind of criticism does close you down. Now, praise on the other side also has some side effects of it too. Praise is almost like if you were a bull, with a ring in your nose. Praise is the kind of thing that's going to pull you along and make you go in directions that maybe you don't really want to go on. For example, maybe if you wrote a fiction book, maybe you said to yourself, well, I'll try this genre. I'll try doing maybe sci-fi this time. And you write a decent book, and everybody says it's your best book ever. They really love it. They say, we want more of this. And you listen to this praise, but your heart wasn't really in that book. You just tried at a genre, you just wanted to see if you could do it. But now you find that you're successful, and everybody is praising that book. And then you're thinking to yourself, should I go back doing maybe romance, or should I do a thriller? But you're thinking, no, everybody is saying I'm brilliant at sci-fi, so maybe I should stay with sci-fi. But what if your heart isn't in sci-fi? So you kind of go down that path. Your praise is kind of dragging you along down this road of writing sci-fi when your heart isn't really in it. Now, you mightn't be a fiction writer, but I'm sure, when you do receive a lot of praise for doing certain things, it does kind of say to ourselves, now sometimes it is genuine, sometimes we are doing a good job, and sometimes we do deserve praise, and sometimes we are happy getting praise for maybe the things that we like to do. But be wary of getting praise for things maybe where your heart's not in it, that is going to take you down a route that you're not happy with. There's no point in, living your life, for other people. At the end of the day, when it comes to approval, the only really approval that we should really be looking for is ourselves. It's at the end of the day that we can finish the day and say to ourselves, well, I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of what I wrote. I'm proud of what I recorded. When you can go to bed content. Now, sometimes that doesn't mean that everyone else is going to approve of your content. But as long as you're happy with that content, that you've done your best, you have said whatever you need to say, you try to make a difference in the world. No, because you've done that, at least you can go to bed at night being happy with yourself. But again, criticism and again, praise is probably going to send you down routes that you're not going to be happy doing. So again, if I was to say anything to you today, again, I would also say it to myself. It's to, be aware of praise as much as criticism. Ignore the critics, because there will be only certain people in the world who will be interested in what you have to say, what you write about, what you talk about. So the rest of the world doesn't really matter. So why pay attention to those people? But also be aware of the praise, just in case maybe it takes you down a path that you don't want to go on. And at the end of the day, when it comes to approval, you shouldn't really be looking for anyone else's approval. You should be just looking for yourself. Make yourself happy, because at the end of the day, you want to look back on your life and say, well, that's a life I wanted to live. I did everything I wanted to do, rather than looking back and saying, well, I didn't live the life I wanted to do. I lived it because my mother wouldn't approve of what I did, or my spouse wouldn't approve of what I did, or my friends and family wouldn't approve of what I did. That's not a nice thought at the end of your life, if that's the way you see it. Give that some thought today. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Before you go, Barry would like to give you a free copy of Words to Wealth. In it, he's going to show you 10 ways to make money from writing. Head on over to writecom.com now for your copy. Have a great day and come back soon.